Hi there, I'm Ben, an RV technician here at Lichtsinn RV. Today we'll be going through the 2018 Winnebago Revel. So to start with, we're going to start inside the main walk-in door here. The first thing we're going to start with is down low here, we have a tank fill. This is one way to fill your freshwater tank. It's called a gravity fill. And nice thing about the gravity fill is we can use buckets, use anything to fill that. We don't need a pressurized source of water, which makes it really handy, really nice, especially when we're off-road, out in the middle of nowhere pretty much. Now above that, next switch up here is actually going to be your coach battery disconnect. So that will actually shut all your power off to the back part of the coach. So if we're going to store this, just not use it for a period of time, we're going to want to hit that disconnect switch so there's no parasitic draws on our batteries, or they just end up dead when we come back. So always hit that when we put it in storage. Now the next switch to the outside here that has the lighted switch is actually for the under lights here on this side and also on the driver's side underneath the step. So that's simply on and off on that light. Next over we have two switches, and there actually are awning controls and awning light controls. So for the awning, we're just going to push out one time. It's going to come out automatically and it will stop once it gets out far enough. So we'll let that come out here. And always one thing to remember about your awnings is, windy conditions, anything, let's bring them in. We do have a wind sensor, but we do have to be careful on that because, big gusts and that still can be dangerous for these things. So if you're going to leave your coach for any amount of time, just put it away. Be safe. Put it away. But like I said, we do have that wind sensor. And if it does sense too much wind, it will put it away automatically for you. But just be careful with it. That other switch that we talked about is actually going to be an LED light strip out on the end of your awning here. Shut that off. And then when we're going to put it away, just push in one time. It's going to go back into the coach, park itself, and shut itself off. So we'll let that go in here. Okay. Now it parks and shuts itself off. Okay, coming down lower, we do have an exterior table here. So that has two latches up high here. We're going to flip open, and then it will flip down. The one thing it does have, it has a screw-on leg that actually stores right behind your sofa inside. And I do have that out. It's right here. It does have a threaded end, so just look for the side that has threads on it. We're going to take that and we're going to just thread it onto that post. Just like that. And then also at the bottom here, this bottom little screw port is an adjuster. So it depends what kind of terrain we're on. We can actually adjust the height of that table to get it level. So then all we got to do is flip it open, bring it down, and then you have an exterior table. So then we're going to go back up. We'll just reverse that process. Clip those closed, clip that closed, and then just take your leg off. All right. So now down below the table, first port on the left side here is tank fill. This is the other way we can fill our 21-gallon freshwater tank. This one we do need a pressurized source. So we need a hose coming from a house, from somewhere with a pressurized source to fill our tank. We can look at our gauges inside. It will tell us when we're full. So next one over is actually a sprayer port. I do have the sprayer nozzle in back. We have another exterior shower in the back that I'll show you, but we use that same hose up here, and it is a quick release. So it's kind of like an air hose. You just push in, push back, and it will release. Make sure we do shut that water pump off or relieve pressure prior to pulling that, otherwise it likes to squirt water all over. So just relieve that pressure and you'll be fine. This one over here is going to be cold water only. The one in the back does have hot and cold choices back there. Next valve over here is going to be a low point drain. So it's just the lowest point of your coach. It's going to help get water out of the system is what it's going to do. Next over is winterizing. So this is anytime we're getting, really freezing conditions, or we just want that coach winterized so we don't have to worry about anything freezing and breaking. Usually in the black bag or somewhere in your coach, you'll have a winterizing hose like this. It has a little white cap on it. You're going to take that white cap off. We will thread that right into here. Just like that. Now we're going to take this and just put it in a jug of RV antifreeze. And what we do after that point is flip this valve up to where it says winterizing. What that actually does now is that actually shuts your freshwater tank off, and now this becomes where your water pump's going to suck from. So after you do that, then we would go to every faucet and flush it till we get pink coming out from every faucet from that RV antifreeze. And so that's the winterizing port there. And just the other thing to remember about winterizing there is when you're all done, make sure that we flip that valve back down to normal operation. Otherwise, when you go to use it, when you unwinterize it, you're not going to get any pressure coming out of your freshwater tank if you leave that in winterize. It's going to want to keep sucking out of here. So make sure we take that back to normal. Okay, so that's winterizing. Now moving back over here to the side, there is one more switch right here inside the door. It's just a little brown switch down low, and that's actually going to control the LED light that's actually here on the passenger side. We do have another LED light on the driver's side I'll talk about when we head to the back. That's simply on and off for that light. So now I'm going to close the door. And one thing about these doors is they are big van doors. So we do have to make sure we close them pretty hard. We want to get them closed all the way. If we don't get them closed all the way, it's going to give you warnings up on your dash. So don't be scared to close these doors. They're made to be closed hard. Coming back up high, you do have that LED light that we were talking about that sits up high. Down lower, the first port right here is actually a solar port. So this is if we want portable solar, which is another option. You do have 2-porter 100-watt solars up on the roof. This is the option for another one that you can put out here. Another 110 plug-in that's on the outside here. And then down low, we have the upgraded wheels for the Revel. And that is an upgraded option for that. On the tire pressure wise, on the rears, we're going to have 70 pounds of pressure. On the fronts, we'll have 49 pounds of pressure. And that's Winnebago's recommendation. It does tell you that on the sticker that's right inside the driver's door too. As we move back, the ladder on the back door here is removable. You can use it as it sits to get up on the roof if you ever need to, but this can be removed just by undoing this crank on the bottom, taking off, and then you're going to lift up to remove it. And that will take it off the coach. Then we can go to the driver's side and we can hook it all the way down that driver's side anywhere that there's nothing obstructing it, and then we can access it from the sides also. The one thing to remember on here, if you do get on that roof, remember it is a metal roof, so you can dent it pretty easily. That's kind of why it's nice to take that ladder to the side and go up there and check seals and just look at anything you need to look to add up there, or to get, any of your outdoor equipment up there too. But just be careful if you do walk on that roof. Matter of putting the ladder back, just clip it back in, and then we want to make sure that we secure that down somewhat tight so we don't have any rattles or anything like that. Just clamp it down until you feel it get tight, and then you should be good there. Now we'll come back and around to the back of the RV. Okay, the first thing we're going to talk about is down low. It's going to be towing. So if anyone's going to tow any trailers, even tow a vehicle or anything, we got 5,000 pounds of towing, 500 on the vertical tongue weight. All right, we do have a 7-pin adapter on the side for, plugging trailers in, lights, any of that stuff there. The other thing we do have storage in both of the doors, just little basket storage here and there. The doors can be released. That's what this black handle is here. You're going to pull forward, release the handle, and then that allows your door to open a lot further. Gives you access to a lot more stuff in here. We can put it back just by releasing it, and then it's going to re-engage itself automatically. Now down below this on the driver's side here, we do have a water pump switch, is the first switch here. So just in case you came out to use the shower out here and forgot to turn your water pump on, you can do that from out here. A lot of people use this, you know, even for rinsing hoses, any of that stuff, helping keep things clean. The other switch right beside that is going to be for the LED light that's up high on the driver's side. So that's what that switch is here. Outside shower here, hot and cold, we offer out back here. And again, that's the quick release. So shut the valve off, relieve the pressure, and then release it after that. This is the sprayer hose here. So it does come with like a garden sprayer. And as you can see, it's just a quick release end. You're just gonna push it in, that's gonna lock it into place. All we're gonna do is push back on that little harness there, and that's gonna release it off the coach. A couple other things we have sitting back here is we do have a screen. So we can put a screen around this whole back. It does have a zipper in the middle so we can get in and out and not have to take the whole screen down. That screen is just gonna attach at these button points. So on all the way around this whole thing, there's gonna be button snap points. So that's how you'll attach that whole screen up there. The other thing we have is covers for the back windows. And again, they're snaps. And there's just 4 snaps around the windows that these are gonna snap onto, and just gives you privacy at night is what they're there for. We do also down low have the clips down here that we can, you know, strap anything down that we're taking with us, keep it secure. These are removable. It's a matter of pushing down, sliding them off to remove them. There is 6 points back here that we can strap things down to. On this side, on the passenger side, there is a 110 outlet, which is going to be down low here, 110 outlet. And then we also do have USB ports here for charging cell phones, charging, you know, whatever you want to, any of your electronics. On that. And then also in the bedroom, if we look straight in all the way back to the back wall there. All right, so down low on the driver's side of the back wall, we do have another 110 volt outlet there. On the right side, passenger side, we have a heat exchanger. So that's part of the S-bar. And that's where the heat's gonna be coming out for the rear area. Once it heats up, it turns a blower on and starts blowing heat out at you. We do have up higher on the driver's side there, there's one light switch that controls the LED lights that are on the ceiling. The 2 lights that are up high on the left side there, on the driver's side, are manually controlled. There's a switch for each one of them that turns them on and off. Right beside those, you're also gonna have a 12 volt outlet and some USB ports up there for charging when you're laying in your bed or any of that stuff up there. All right. We'll explain the bed when we go inside. A little easier to explain from the inside on that one. We're gonna come around here. And actually, sorry, one more thing on the back is we do have sewer hose storage that is down on the passenger side down low. So the 10-foot sewer hose that comes with the coach can be stored in this storage here. All right, now we're gonna move to the driver's side. Okay, so we'll start up high. The LED light is up high, and that switch, again, is backed by your rear shower for controlling that. Coming down, we do have our 30 amp cord that does connect to the coach. This one does come with the coach. All we're gonna do is we're gonna line the ends up. So you'll see one with a little L, match it up to the one that's the L on the coach. We'll push it in, twist a little bit, and then you're gonna screw this retainer on. And that's just gonna help keep that cord attached to the coach. Then when you get ready to leave, you're gonna undo the cord, and wherever you store it in the back or wherever you wanna store it, you can put it in there. I always do recommend some kind of surge protection too, whether it's a portable surge protection or if you have someone install a hardwire surge protection. And again, that's something we can do usually, but surge protection is very important. It protects all your electronics, pretty much everything. I would say 90% of people that leave this dealership have some kind of surge protection installed or put on their coach. There is a light up on top here. That does tell you if you have power. There also is a light on the other side of the cord that plugs into the pole. And that also tells you if you're getting power out of that pole too. Okay, moving forward from there. So in here is our cassette toilet. We do access it with a key, and that key's on your key ring. So you turn it, push in on that, and that releases both of them. So cassette toilet's really easy to use. So normal toilet operation, what you're gonna do is there's a blue handle inside here, down low. That's what's locking that cassette in place, which is right down here at the bottom. We're gonna lift up on that handle and just pull straight out. So right there's the cassette. All we do is this right here is how we dump it. That can be twisted, cap off, and then literally you're gonna dump that into wherever you're dumping it. Dump station, wherever. There are some relief points up here, so that's gonna relieve pressure, allowing it to flow out better. Otherwise, the other stuff is part of the stuff. When I clip it back in, it engages. So all we're gonna do is put that back in, and then you'll hear it clip, and now it's locked in place, ready to be used. All right, right beside the cassette toilet is actually our city fill. So the city fill port is where we're gonna hook up if the campsite offers water. If they offer water, hook the hose up here. Now we don't use your water pump. We're using the pressure from that hose to feed the whole coach. Another good thing here too is a pressure regulator. It reduces all your pressure down to 40 to 50 PSI, which anything above that we really don't want. Our fittings are only rated to take so much PSI. Our lines inside are only rated for so much PSI. So a pressure regulator on the end of a hose is always a good thing. All right. Now down below the cassette toilet, we do have the sewer dump down here. And this is the gray tank only. Again, your black tank you're dumping by hand. It's a matter of just taking that cap off. 10-foot blue hose that comes with the coach. And all that's gonna do is go on, quarter turn, and lock into place. Then we're gonna take the other end, put it in the dump station, pull this valve that's right here. It's a T-handle valve. Just pull it straight out. And that's gonna allow your 21-gallon gray water tank to dump. When you're done, make sure you push that valve back in. If you don't push it back in, the next time you take your cap off, you're gonna get a surprise. So push it back in, put your cap back on when you're done. Again, you can use that outside shower to rinse that hose off, clean it up before you put it away. The other thing that we have down low here is right up front is the exhaust for the S-Par. And that does get really hot, so be careful on touching any of that, but that will be all that diesel exhaust coming out this side. All right, inside the driver's door here, a couple things. So we'll start on the door. We do have storage down below on the door. Quarter turn, pops open. So it gives you a little bit of storage. This stuff you store in here, you're only gonna want store stuff that you're not gonna use when you travel, because you can only access this panel when the door's open. So I see a lot of people put diesel gloves, other things like that, rubber gloves in there for dumping, stuff you don't need all the time. I see them put it in there a lot of times. On this side, there's a yellow sticker just right inside the door here. That's gonna give you your VIN numbers, serial numbers, model numbers, tire pressures. All that information is gonna be on this yellow tag right inside here. Right here on this flip door, this is your diesel tank. And it is only accessible if you open the door first, flip it open, and then you can close the door. But when it's closed and your door's closed and locked, it's secure, so no one can siphon your fuel, any of that stuff. Then up here, it's saying B5 Max on the biodiesel. The basic use is an ultra low sulfur diesel is what we mainly want to use in here, but we can go to the B5 Max. Fuel tank is 24 gallons, so it does give you quite a bit of fuel. Other thing that we have in here, below the driver's seat, is, if I flip that open, it's going to be standard ATO fuses. A lot of the stuff that's in here is going to be Mercedes stuff. So, I mean, if you have stuff not working, this is going to be one of the places to come check fuses for a lot of the Mercedes stuff. Then, If you look right here on the chair too, right above the chair, there's this little handle right in the kind of off to the side a little bit. That's going to be the rotation for the chair. So if I have that chair facing forward, all I'm going to do is pull this handle towards the middle, and that will allow that chair to swivel all the way around to wherever you want to sit. Just make sure when you do come back around that you do hear it click and that your chair does lock into place where it needs to be. All right. Other things over here a little further. So first of all, down low here, we have more Mercedes fuses here. So again, another place to just check. Another place to check if there's something wrong with anything on the dash, engine, any of that stuff. Another place to check is in there. This is also where the hookup is to your computer. If there's any codes, any of that stuff, it's actually up in there. Brake pedal, gas pedal. Above the gas pedal, way back there, kind of hard to see, but way back here, there's a little release back there. So it's a little red button up on top. You're gonna push that red button, pull it off the post. That's gonna disconnect your chassis battery. And again, that's if we're gonna leave it set for more than a week or two, just pull it. Then again, your battery won't drain. If you accidentally left lights on, any of that stuff, it's gonna protect you so your battery's good. The one thing we do have, if we do ever kill our battery for some reason, our chassis battery, again, left lights on, any of that stuff, we do have kind of a fail-safe a little bit. Right up here is a battery boost switch. So that battery boost switch, what it does, it's gonna join all your batteries together. So it's gonna take your house batteries and join them to the chassis to help you start your engine if it's ever dead. It's a momentary switch. So I'm just gonna push in and hold it and then start your engine. The second I let go of it, now it disengages all the batteries and separates them again. So again, it's like a jumper pack. It's gonna help you jump your battery. Above that is gonna be our light control. So we have daytime running lights, but we don't have automatic lights. So remember at night, turn your full lights on. Turn them back off during the day. And then if you turn them on and then pull out, that's gonna be your fog lights. Push back in, shuts those off, and then back to off. The black plates that are here are just cover plates. Nothing's used there. You do have the dampener here that dampers the vent coming out. The control on the bottom here is going to be your blinkers, your brights, your dims. You're going to push it towards the dash for brights, pull back for dims. Blinkers are going to be up and down. Wipers are going to twist. And then the windshield washer fluid, you're going to push in on the whole handle. Above that, the little handle up there is going to be your cruise control. So cruise control is always on. All you have to do is hit that up or down, kind of like this, or like that, to set a cruise. And then also up and down is going to be your accel and decel. So if you want to speed up a little bit, slow down a little bit without pushing the gas, hitting the brakes, that's how we do that. Resume is going to be pull it towards you. And then on the top it says off. If I put it back, all that means is I'm canceling a cruise. The same thing the brakes would do. So again, always on, up or down to set a cruise. Okay, coming down low here, right around the corner is going to be your hood release. So it's literally right around the corner, right below the fuses. Pull that, then we'll head up front. Okay, so up front, your hood release, you got the one inside, then there's a secondary latch. It's just left of the Mercedes. You're gonna push up on it, lift up on the hood, lift it till you hear a click. It engages itself on the left side there and holds itself up. All right, couple things underneath the hood. On the right side here, very first is going to be windshield washer fluid. So that's right there. Behind that is going to be brake fluid. Down low, kind of hard to see, but power steering fluid's down low here. The red terminal that's there is actually a remote port for your chassis battery. So they give you a remote port because your chassis battery actually sits under the floor in front of your driver's seat. So we have to twist this, push back, and then clamp on a jumper cable, a tender, whatever you're going to put here. And then the ground is actually on the sidewall, way on the side over there. So just a little post that's right over here for your ground. All right, we do have our chassis air cleaner in the middle. Oil filter sits way down the middle right here. It's a cartridge oil filter drop in. On this side is where we fill our oil. 13 quarts this takes. And pretty specific oil, so always check your manual for the type of oil to put in this. It's a Euro blend, so just make sure you get the right oil in here. But it is 13 quarts. The dipstick is actually right behind it, which is right there. Coming over here, we have a cab air filter. So that's filtering all the air going into the cab. So that's easy, just pull it out. We can clean it. Don't use water, just use air. Clean it out or replace it, either way. And then it just snaps back in there, just like that. Really easy to do. And what that does is it has a rubber gasket here, so when I bring the hood down, it seals around here, and then it actually pulls it across your hood sweep. And then it pulls it from the driver's side so it doesn't have direct access to rain, dust, snow, any of that elements, which protects your filter a little bit more. Right in front of that, it's going to be your engine coolant. And then in front of that, kind of important thing. So the government mandated in 2010 that every diesel have DEF, diesel exhaust fluid, put in there. It gets pumped into your exhaust, which is killing the carbon monoxide. This is the reason we don't have black smoke coming out of diesels anymore. 3.4 gallon tank. You do have a gauge on your dash that tells you the amount that you have in there. The main thing is don't run out of DEF. If you run out of DEF, it's going to lock you out of your coach. So I would say drive 1,000 miles, 1,500 miles, top it off. Don't always keep it topped off. We want to use some of it because it does crystallize. So we do want it to go down a little bit. So maybe set it every 3-4 fill-ups. We'll top it off. That would work. Don't ever confuse these two. Engine's not going to like it. Make sure the DEF goes in the DEF. Make sure the coolant goes in the coolant. Okay. Couple things up front. Down low are going to be right here on the passenger side. You'll see a little circle that has a little eject symbol up top. So what that's for, if I push on it, it's going to pop out of there. In our tire kit, in the passenger seat, underneath the passenger seat there, there's a big bar that screws in there. And that's if we ever just need to pull this off the road, emergency use. There's no good place to hook a chain up front unless we put this bar in. So screw that bar in, hook your chain up, get it pulled off the interstate or something if you broke down. The other thing we have is a step here. So that's going to help you get up, clean the windshield, any of that stuff. All right, now we're going to move around to the passenger door. Okay, so in the passenger door, we have that same storage in the door that we can only access with the door open. On this door, it's actually on the yellow sticker, it's going to tell you your combined weight, give you a serial number, model numbers, stuff like that too on this yellow sticker. If you look right back in here, underneath this floor right here, take a quarter, take a key, something, twist that middle thing, that whole floor is going to pop up. That's where your jack and your tire tools are, and then the bar for up front is underneath that floor right there. The black bag that's here, this black bag holds all your coverings for the front. It's going to be your windshield cover, driver's door, passenger's door for your privacy blinds in there. Other thing that we have underneath the passenger seat here, we're going to flip this open. Now you're going to see some 12-volt breakers. So this stuff is Winnebago stuff. What they're going to do is pop straight out on you. You're going to push them straight back in to reset them. If they continue to pop, go get it serviced. You probably have a problem of some kind. But if it pops once, never does it again, it might have just been a fluke or something. So don't be too scared if it pops just once. But everything's labeled what they go to. Radio, disconnects, solar, any of that stuff. So this is another place to look if we have something not running in the coach is under here. A good way to think of this is Driver's seat, everything underneath is pretty much Mercedes. Passenger seat, everything underneath is pretty much Winnebago stuff. So kind of helps you find what you're looking for a little bit for troubleshooting. All right, now coming inside the coach after the passenger door, we're going to talk about setting this bed up, the front bed. So the very first thing we're going to do is lift the countertop extension up. So lift up, locks into place. Next thing we're going to do is release the pedestal with this release down below. Pull it to the outside of the coach. That's going to release the whole pedestal stand down. And now what we're going to do is the very first thing you want to do is release this backrest. There's a button on this side, and there's also another button on the back side here that holds that into place. So let's just get that cushion out of the way. Then the base cushion here, we're going to rotate it. So you're going to pull it up. There's a bar on the bottom side here. This bar is going to lock into the slots underneath it. But you do have to flip it all the way around. You have to rotate it 180. And the reason for that is when I rotate it 180 and then lock it into place, it puts a ledge here that's going to actually hold the other cushion that goes up front here. So now your backrest cushion is going to be the cushion that sits up front there. That locks into there. The filler stays in the back there, which is going to make your front bed here. Then all we're going to do is reverse that process. Take that backrest cushion off. The bottom cushion you're going to take and rotate. Flip it around, and again, you want to lock into that ledge that's there. Like that, you'll feel it drop down in there. Put your backrest back up and snap those buttons back into place to hold it in place when you travel. On that. Then last thing we're going to do is flip the pedestal back up. So come straight up, re-engage it, flip it down. Now underneath here is the release for the countertop extension. Lift up a little bit on the extension, pull that release, and it will come straight down and lock into place there. So that's all there is to making that front bed up. It's actually really easy to do if you ever need it. Okay, now what we're going to do is go above the front sofa here and talk about the controls, kind of the brains of everything Winnebago does back here. All right, the very first thing we'll talk about is up high here. This is the control for your rear bed. So that's the up and down. Literally, it has a safety key here that needs to be turned on. You have the option of taking it out if you don't want anyone messing with it or anything. Then there's two arrows here that will move that bed up or down. Just hold it till it stops on the way down. Same thing going up. Hold it till it stops going up. There is a seat belt in the back that is a safety connection for that bed. I'll show you when we kind of go back there, but you need to make sure that's released when you're bringing that bed down. And then make sure it's buttoned when you're going to travel so that bed doesn't accidentally fall or anything. It's just there for safety is what it's there for. Okay, next down is actually the thermostat for your S-bar heater. And that's simply a slide bar on the bottom. If I want to shut it all the way off, take it all the way to the left side. That is off, and it actually tells you that it's off right there. Otherwise, just set your temperature to whatever you want to there. Next one over is actually going to be your controls for that S-bar heater. Pretty easy to use. So the first control up here is system on the right side there. So once you have the system on, now we can control the hot water heater diesel burner on the bottom here. The top one up here is for the furnace. But if you are going to run the furnace, make sure you turn all three switches on. But if you just want the water heater, you just got to make sure you have those two switches on, the hot water and the system. It's just with the furnace, you have to have all three running. Let me shut those off. You do also have the option of fan 1 and fan 2, so that's that internal fan for the speeds. All right, next one over is actually going to be your 200 watts of solar that you have up on the roof. This literally is just a readout. Pretty much we can't do anything with it besides change battery types. And the only time you ever want to mess with that is if you actually change the batteries that are on board. Right now you have 3 AGM batteries. And then if you ever change them to lithium ion or a wet cell, that's when we change them. But right now it's set up for those AGM batteries. If we change it and we don't change our batteries, it can actually affect the way it charges, could damage some things. So If you don't change batteries, just don't change it. Next one up, you can look at how many amps it's giving you, and then you can also look at how many amp hours those solar panels are giving you. And then go back. Other than that, it pretty much takes care of it for you. I mean, it's there to maintain your batteries, help maintain your batteries, I should say. All right, next one over is going to be your one-place panel. So the one-place panel will actually have a water pump switch on it. So that's where we can turn the water pump on for inside the coach here. Your next switch over is going to be your tank levels. So that's going to show you your freshwater tank level and also your gray water tank level. Black, there's a sensor on the toilet that I'll show you in a little bit that tells you when you're full. Just remember you have 21 on the fresh, 21 on the gray, and then we only have 5 gallons on the black. So kind of have to be a little cautious with how much water we use and you know how long we're going to be out there. Next one is battery level. So battery levels are going to show you your chassis battery level and also your house battery levels. So you can kind of maintain and keep an eye on all those. All right, next one down here, the black switch. This is going to be the electric element part of your S-bar heater. A lot of times you probably won't be using that because you'll be off grid. So you'll be using that diesel burning most of the time. But if we are plugged in, the electric element's a good way to help maintain a temperature. We'll probably still want to use the diesel burner just to keep up with all our demands and everything of the on-demand water heater. Next one over is our inverter. So that inverter is going to control plugins, going to control your cooktop. So anytime you're off grid and want to run any of that stuff, we have to turn the inverter on. Sign right below it is telling you if you're not using that inverter, just shut it off. Because even though you're not using it, if you have it on, it's still drawing a little bit of power. So if you're not using it, just shut it off. The inverter literally has 3 settings. It's either on, off, or in a standby mode where it's like searching for if you need a call for things. Any problems with that, check your manual on that. It will walk you through it step by step. All right, next one over are 3 light switches. The farthest one to me is going to be your bathroom light switch. Next one over is the ceiling lights, and that does have high and low. So middle is off, up is high, and then down is just a kind of a night light low setting. Next one is actually just an LED strip lighting that's here and over there on that. Okay, the other thing under the sofa seat that I'm sitting on is actually, well, it's gonna be hard to get to, but under there we do have a mixing valve, and that's for your hot water heater. So if it's not getting warm enough for you or if it's too hot, you can actually go down there and adjust that mixing valve so it doesn't get so hot, or maybe you want it a little hotter. It's just a crank style. It says plus minus on the top. If you do go under there, you'll also see another panel under there. It's for the S-bar heater. The panel up here oversees that one. So when you have this panel on, it shuts that one off. You don't need to worry about the one underneath there, just the one up here. Also on there, your S-bar heater does require maintenance. In your manual, we'll tell you service intervals that we need to check the S-bar heater. There's a nozzle, stuff like that we have to change and maintain in there. So check your manual for the intervals of maintenance on that. I would do it at least once a year just to keep everything running good. And that's something you're probably going to take to a service dealer to get that done, because it's a matter of tearing into that burner, and you got to kind of be careful when you do that. Down below here, all right, down below here, your first compartment here is a flip up. This is going to be all of your 110 breakers. So this is going to be anything that runs on 110 volt. It's just like your house breakers. It's going to trip halfway when it trips. Make sure you shut it all the way off, turn it back on to reset it. Everything is labeled what it goes to there also. The panel that's right beside that is actually, there's a little finger hole on the bottom to open it. That's going to be all of your 12 volt fuses. Again, standard ATO fuses. Always a good idea to carry extra fuses with you, especially if you're going to be off grid for a long time, kind of out in the boonies. You want to make sure you have extra parts with you just in case something would go wrong. So just always kind of look and see what fuses you have and make sure you have replacements for them on board. The one thing that is nice about this system is it does have red lights on the side. So it will tell you if one of your fuses is blown. You'll see exactly which one it is. On the back of this panel, it actually labels what each fuse goes to. So if you ever have something not working, you can come here and find out which fuse it actually is, and you can check it. Now I'll put that back on. All right. The other thing that we have really quickly is you'll see these mounts up here. One here, one there. We have them kind of all over the coach. These are for accessories. They're actually RAM mounts is what we sell, and it's cell phone holders, iPad holders. I mean, there's tons of accessories that we can do with these. So something to think about. I mean, it's the best way to utilize space. Good add-on. The other thing we have is USB ports also up here for charging any of those accessories that we hang or have in here. The other thing is your window just has a flip open, and you'll hear it go up, let go, holds in place. All we're gonna do is grab one of those handles and pull straight back down to bring it back down. Then lock these back in place. That's all there is to that. Pull the top one down is a screen for that window. And then if I pull the bottom one up, it's a privacy shade for that window. So then go back down, opens the window back up. Other thing we have up front here is a workstation. What we got to do for that workstation is we're going to go way down low and we're going to pull it all the way up. You'll hear it lock into place. If I'm sitting in the driver's chair like I am now, we can flip this straight over and gives us a little more workstation over here. When we're going to go back, we're going to go closed. Underneath, there's two release handles, one on each side. You'll just push up on them and it's going to release that table down. Then again, we do have another RAM mount on that side. Down below me here, we do have a 110 volt outlet that's down low there. This is your GFI outlet. So if we have outlets outside not working, certain outlets not working, come check this. It has a reset button right on the front of it. You'll just push that reset button back in to reset it. Again, down below we have another heat exchanger. That's where our SPAR is going to be giving us heat out of. We have air vent here, which is just allowing air to circulate down there, circulate around the heater and everything. All right, and then also right here down low is we do have a fire extinguisher, which is just down low here, makes it easy access inside, outside. So if we have a fire or anything, we can access that really easy. Another tie down kind of up front here. The other thing I have up front here is we do have another screen. This screen is made for this van door here, and there's snaps again that will snap all the way around and allow you with a zipper in the middle so you can go in and out of that door also. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the bed and back operation of it going up and down. We kind of talked about operation already. Now we're just going to see it run. So those switches are right around the corner again, and it's nice and smooth down, nice and smooth up. Again, hold that button, it's going to come down. Always watch what we have underneath it though. Come down like that, it shuts off on its own once it hits its safety switch, puts the bed down there, which is nice. All right, so now we're going to go above the bed up here. So up here is going to be your AC. All the controls for your AC are actually right on the AC itself. The one that's in the front here is going to be facing this way. That's going to be all the controls of the AC. So that's going to be your low fan, low cool, high cool. So I mean, that's where we're going to set the option that we want. And then on the back side here is going to be a thermostat. And we're going to set that to the arrow that kind of comes back. And that's where we set kind of the temperature that we want it to be inside here. Another nice add-on is we do offer an easy start is what it's called. It's for the AC. It actually makes it run at a lot lower amperage and not hard start so much. So then if you want a 2000 watt generator, it's going to make it so you can run this AC off that 2000 watt generator, which is a huge thing. You don't have to have as big a generator carrying with you. You can have just a nice 2000 watt generator out there that will run this. But we do have to install that easy start. And that's something that we do offer here at site. Okay, so that's AC. The other thing with the AC is On both sides are filters. If you ever see those get really dusty, dirty, take them down, clean them. Literally, all you gotta do is pop this side and pull the filter down. You can rinse them out with water, let them dry before you put them back up. It's really easy there. The black handles here are just dampeners, so you can kind of guide the air where you want it to go. Maybe you want it blowing right down on you or towards the ceiling. That's what we do there. Right in front of the AC is our carbon monoxide detector. All we have to do is twist. It's gonna pop down. 3 AA batteries. There is a test button right on the front. Check it often. Replace the batteries at least yearly. Make sure they're working good. This is just like any other one. If the batteries are starting to go dead, it's gonna chirp at you, but still test it, make sure it is working like it should be. And it's just a matter of going back up, twisting into place. The seat belt is right around the corner here. So that's that safety switch for the bed, our safety buckle. When it comes up, there's another seat belt connection right here on the bed. Then we will snap that seat belt in place here, and that's just a safety for the bed. Right behind me now, we do have a storage cabinet here, kind of like a pantry. All the shelves are adjustable in there. You just lift up, move the little holders wherever you want to go. And these are push button latches. So just push in, latches it. When you want to release, push, it releases it. Down below here, there is one access panel that is down low here. All that is doing is giving me access to the heat exchanger down there. It's strictly for service on that. Fridge wise, the steel thing you see on top is a travel latch. So if we flip that up, the door can't come flying open while we're traveling. Flip that, you're gonna pull up on the handle and then pull out. Way back in the refrigerator, there is a dial back there that you can set temperature of your fridge, what you want the fridge set at. You have a little freezer on top and the rest is fridge. Right above the fridge, we have a 110 volt plug-in again. Another heat exchanger port here that we're gonna get heat out of. This switch that's right here is a macerator pump. So this is how we're gonna drain the sink up here. So the kitchen sink is actually ran with a macerator. So until you hit this macerator switch or hold it, it's not gonna drain. So you do whatever you need to do, then you're gonna hold this switch till it drains it all completely gone. And that's the same when you're gonna winterize this. Dump that RV antifreeze down, run a bunch of it through that macerator pump so we know we got that macerator pump winterized. Faucet wise, we're just gonna flip up and it does swivel. You're gonna pull out on the handle. If I'm down like this, that's cold. If I flip it up and pull out, that's hot. The one thing you always wanna remember, if I leave it just how it's sitting right now, facing up, when I close this, it's gonna actually push this and turn your faucet on. So always make sure when you store it to push the handle down, just so it doesn't turn it on for you. And then you also do have a little stopper in the bottom that we can plug the sink off with. Close it. This sink does go into your gray tank, so that goes into that 21-gallon gray tank. Beside that, you have your induction stovetop. This does run off your inverter. So if you want to use this and you're out dry camping, you have to turn that inverter on. That was on the main panels over there. And again, you're gonna need specific cooking utensils for the induction stovetop. So make sure you have the right pans and right stuff to cook with it. It will actually not heat up until you put the right pan on there. You can't even turn it on until you put the right pan on there. So make sure you have the right pans for that. And then you can control everything on the front here. Heat, temp, timers, and then temperature up and down on that. Coming above, you do have a little bit of storage here. And then another one of those RAM mounts is up here. And USB ports here also. So again, that's for those accessories. So cell phone holders, iPads, any of that stuff can go up there. All right, above we do have a storage cupboard up above. That again does have that push button latch, and it is slow close. So let it close and then push it the rest of the way and latch it. But let the slow close kind of do its thing first before you try forcing it too much. Okay, now above me, kind of hard to see, tight area. So up here, you do have your max air fan, and it does have a cover already built onto it. So if I push power over here, it's gonna automatically open that vent cover and start venting out. The nice thing about this fan is we can use it traveling, going down the road, in the rain. I mean, it doesn't matter because that cover protects it. The other switches that we have up here are the plus and minus. That's gonna be the speeds of the fan. You have 10 different speeds of this fan, so we can go really slow or extremely fast, depending on how much air you wanna move. So that's that plus and minus. The other button that's behind it here is actually a thermostat. So it'll say set it to 78 degrees. You're gonna hold the button until a green light comes on. Then now the thermostat's set to 78 degrees. If it gets warmer than that in here, it's gonna automatically open, start venting the air out. If it gets colder, it's gonna shut automatically. Nice thing about this fan is it does come with a remote. So then we can do all those same functions on this remote. This remote also works as a thermostat. So now I can set it for whatever temperature I want to. So I can set it for 65 degrees, 60, and that fan's gonna open. But it comes with a mount. You can mount this anywhere you want to, and then that's gonna run all the functions of that fan. All right, the other remote I have in here is gonna be for the infotainment center up front. So that just allows me to control all of the radio up front from back here. All right, there is one more cabinet above the sofa, which is just like the one above the sink. It has that same push button latch, same slow close on it. When you close it, let it do its thing. Then push it in, latch it closed. Okay, and then also beside the fridge, you do have 3 storage drawers. I can push latch, pull out, push it back in, latch it closed. Really easy.
There we go.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about the bathroom. First of all is the door. It does have a travel latch up high here. So we need to release that first. That's gonna allow us to pull the door open. It does have another latch. It's gonna allow that door to fold in half. So inside here, we do have a drip rod up high. So that's for, you know, wet clothes, any of that stuff we can put on there. We do have storage shelves all the way up here, gear shelves. Those are all removable. So we can take them all out, leave them in, it's up to you. To access the toilet, again, you're gonna have to take that bottom shelf out, but up here in the shower and stuff, on the right side, we have our shower, which has your cold on the right side, hot on the left side. And then again, there's that quick release there. We do have our shower nozzle here. And again, if we want to, we can take this outside and use it outside too. And all we do is push that in and it snaps in. On the top of the shower head here, we can shut all water flow off or turn water flow on. That's gonna help us maintain water because we're gonna set our temperature once. Now we're gonna control the shower by shutting this on and off. And that, up above the drip bar is actually gonna be a vent. All we're gonna do is push up and push the red button. And that turns the exhaust vent on. Anytime we're showering, any of that stuff, make sure we always turn that exhaust vent on to get rid of that moisture. Wanna get the moisture out of the coach. All right, and then now we're gonna come down. And then down below, for right now, I'm just gonna pull the one shelf out of the way. Starting on this side over here, we do have a sealed compartment up high. Open that up, it does have a rubber gasket that goes around, so we can put stuff in there, it's gonna keep it dry. Close, locks in place. Down below that is actually a toilet paper holder. And actually it's a self-feeding one. So once you put your roll on and lock it into place, you'll just crank this and it will literally feed you toilet paper. Close, now get this out of the way. Okay, for your cassette toilet, really easy to use. First of all, back here is gonna be your flush valve. So that's what's gonna give us water. So I push that, put as much water as I want to inside the bowl. Do your business. Then down below is actually gonna be the shutter. So this shutter, I'm gonna hit really quick and close. That's what's gonna drop it down into that cassette black tank down there. So again, put the water in first, flush it with this. The other thing is back on the back side, it's kind of hard to see, but it's down on the left side of the toilet here. There's a little sight gauge there. It's just showing green right now. So it's showing green right now. That's going to show red when that cassette toilet's getting full. So once that goes red, pretty much you're full. We'll want to get that dumped. So just pay attention to that. Keep an eye on that because we don't want to overfill it. So watch that. Oh. Okay, and then now we are going to move up to the cab area. Okay, now up front in the cab area. First of all, what we're going to talk about is the black bag. Winnebago black bag here. Main manuals for your whole coach. So in the black bag are going to be, very first thing, we have a copy of your window stickers. So on this window sticker here, you're going to have all your upgraded options, VIN numbers, model numbers, serial numbers, exterior heights, lengths, widths. Over here is going to be all your tank sizes. So if you're ever curious of what any of that stuff is, you have that page right in here. On the back side is all standard options that come with the coach of that page. Then another nice thing is, Winnebago does, is on this other page is all the serial numbers and model numbers of all the appliances in here. So if we ever need a replacement, we don't have to go searching for that serial number or model number. It's right here on this sheet. So that's the first thing. Other thing we have in here is operator's manual. So this is going to walk you through how to operate everything in this coach. And back here in section, let me find it. All right, section 8 is going to be a maintenance chart. So this maintenance chart is a good reference. It's going to tell you when to check batteries, when to check seals, when to check everything. It's going to tell you before it's used, weekly, monthly, yearly. Good reference point to keep up on all the maintenance stuff that's required for an RV. So that's the operator's manual. Next manual is the supplement manual. So this is every manual for every single thing in this coach. Winnebago just takes it and they put it in binder form, makes it very easy to find whatever you're looking for. It's all subcategorized right on the first page there, whatever you're looking for. Any problems, any trouble operating stuff, usually the best place to go first is your manuals, because a lot of times that's going to walk you through exactly what's going on. If not, you can always call us. We can help you through it too. But that's going to be everything in here. And these manuals are specific to your coach too. So it's not going to have any random stuff in there. It's specific to this coach. The other thing we have is the Mercedes manual. So that's the chassis manual. Anything to do with the chassis, refer to this manual. We do have a couple other random manuals in here that are like toilet and stuff like that. Those manuals also will be in your supplement manual too. So that's the black bag. Next thing we're going to talk about up front is, okay, on the steering wheel, we have steering wheel controls up front here. On the right side are going to be all of your hands-free calling. So that's your volume, your hang up, your answer calls. On the left side is going to be all of your in-dash options. So that's how we go through everything up there, like your depth gauge, take you through trips, odometer readings, all that stuff is up on your dash. And that's simply going up and down on the arrows. And then you can go side to side to change categories up there. Horn in the middle. Down below you have your steering wheel adjustment, which just pulls straight down, up and down, and then also telescopes in and out. Pull it back up to lock it to whatever setting you want to. To the right side of the steering wheel is actually going to be our four-wheel drive. So this is where we're going to lock our four-wheel drive in. Just remember, anytime we lock the four-wheel drive in, we are going to want to be stopped to lock that in place. Hill climb will engage when it needs to, if you have hill climb engaged, if it senses it. Down below that, it's going to be hard to see right now, but if you go straight down from the ignition, there's another switch way down low. That's actually a radio house power switch. So what that is doing is choosing which batteries you want to run this radio. So if you want to use your ignition, your chassis battery, or your house batteries. Pretty much if you're camping, you might want to use your house batteries to run this radio, so we're not draining that chassis battery. If you're traveling, you might want to switch it up to engine. So then it's going to work like a normal radio with your ignition only. So it gives you a choice there. Ignition key for the Mercedes is here, that flips in. pops open. You do have lock and unlock on the front there. That will lock all your doors, unlock all your doors. And then we have one more key on here, which is going to be for your cassette toilet. So that's how we open that and lock it. Push that back in, close it. Another thing to remember with the diesel is we do have glow plugs in here. So we do have to let the glow plugs warm up prior to starting it. So in cold conditions, we want to click the ignition over to run. You'll see a little swiggly line up on the dash. Wait until that goes out and then you can start it. There are times that you might want to cycle the key a couple times if it's really cold out, and that's just to stop the fuel from gelling up, any bad things happening. So other good thing to do is always add some kind of additive if you want to your fuel to help with the gelling up things. Other things with the engine is we do have a 1,000-mile break-in period. And in that first 1,000 miles, we want normal acceleration, normal deceleration. So we don't want you out there drag racing, don't want you slamming the brakes on. What we're after is just normal shifting points is what we want. So just nice and smooth, no top speed, no bottom speed, just nice and smooth and vary in the speeds is the main thing. So they recommend if you are going to use your cruise, every hour to pull off on an off-ramp and then pull back on. That would be enough varying. But if you don't use your cruise, then your foot itself is going to vary the speeds enough to help break things in. And they don't recommend any towing for that first 1,000 miles for that break-in period. Other things with the engine is our oil changes. Your manual says 20,000 miles or 2 years. Our recommendation is every year 10,000 miles. 20,000 just seems like a lot, but you can use your best judgment. It's up to you. On that, other things up here are, so we're going to come into the middle here. We have our shifter. So it's going to shift on the left side. It shows you the shift pattern. And then once you get down to drive on the bottom, I can tap this sideways, this way or this way to go up gears or down gears. So that's a nice feature because if we're in really hilly grades, we can actually downshift manually. We use our engine to slow us down and not have to ride our brakes all the way down these hills. And you probably will want to do that if you're up in the mountains, so we're not heating our brakes up. So definitely a good feature there. And as you shift down, it's going to show you up on your dash if you're in 5th, 4th, 3rd, what gear you're in. So just keep an eye up there and it will show you. Coming to the middle here, down low, there's a pull-out tray. So a pull-out tray here does give you an adjustable cup holder, which goes in there. If you want to reset it, push it all the way in. That resets it. We do have a removable ashtray, coin holder, whatever you want to use it for. You can go back in. Cigarette lighter, 12-volt outlet here. And then if I close that, just push in, there is another 12-volt outlet down low. The one way down low is going to be hot all the time. So running straight from the battery. The one that's in here, the pull-out tray, is ignition controlled only. So depending what you're using them for, that's going to depend which one you want to use at certain times. Up above that is going to be actually the brains of the infotainment center up front. So right down here on the bottom, you'll feel a little slot here. That's actually your SD card. That is actually what has all your maps on it, all that stuff for this radio. We are going to have to update that card every so often. And, you know, at least once a year, update that card. You might have to do it more. It all depends. But we want to get those most updated maps that we can. In your manual, we'll have the website that you need to go to update that card. It's a matter of taking it out, putting it in your computer, and then doing the update. Or if you take it in for service, you can ask your dealer to update that card. So a lot of people bring it to us, and guys up front will actually update that card for them. So that's an option too. You do have a USB port on there too. So charging cell phones, we can hook our cell phone up that way. Over here is a HDMI port. Again, that's hooking a computer up, hooking any kind of stuff like that up to that port that we want to. Coming above that is we have a rear defrost here. You have your 4-way hazards in the middle. You have your traction control, so you have the ability to shut it off. It will put a big warning up on your dash if you do shut it off. Over here, a door lock, so we can lock our doors from here. Front doors and then rear doors. In the middle here is all your climate control. Again, climate control doesn't have an on-off switch. So pretty much what it is is if I have the ignition on, if I have lights on the fan here, the system's on. You take the lights off the fan, the system's off. Over here is the temperature setting to what you want the temperature in here. We have recirculation right here. You have your AC control down below that. This is your vent selection, so where you want the air to go. We have another defrost here, which just turns the AC on with your heater and helps defrost the front windows. Then you have a paper clip. So paper clip over there, push back, put whatever you want. Toll road tickets, anything can be stored up there. All right, now we'll go up to the infotainment center. It's all touchscreen, 9-inch screen. So I'm gonna push menu. Very first thing we have here is the radio. We have bands, all that stuff on the right and left side. You have seek and tune in the middle, and then presets down at the bottom. If you want to set a preset, just hold it. It will set to that preset. Now if I push menu again, it's going to bring up all the options of this radio. So the next one over is Media Center. So Media Center, we can actually say file, screensavers, you know, kind of whatever we want to. If we want to download stuff off our computer and then hook up to the HDMI cable and put it on here, we can. So this is where we would store that stuff on this system if we wanted to. Next one over is going to be your Sirius XM. On Sirius XM, if you want to subscribe to it, what we can do is go to channel 0. It's going to give you your radio ID number right there. So that's the number that they're going to ask for. And I think a lot of times they ask for the model and serial number of the coach too. But just go to channel 0. It will give you that radio ID number if you want to subscribe to that. Next one over is Bluetooth. So this is how we connect our phone to this system. So we can do our hands-free calling, listen to music, any of that stuff off that phone. It says no connection right now. Down in the right-hand corner, you'll see a little picture of a phone. I'm going to push that. Now it's going to bring your device up. You'll click on it if you're already connected to it. If you need to connect to it, push the phone and then push new. And now that puts the system in pairing. So then go on your phone and pair to this system. And that's how we do the Bluetooth with the phones. And then also when you're in Bluetooth, when you have the screen up on the right side here, it's going to actually have your music there. So then you can play and pause all your music over there. Phone books, everything else will be in the middle, dialers. HDMI is there. That's hooking up to the HDMI port. Auxiliary, and just no video, not used. And then HD camera. So this is going to be your rear view camera. As you see right there. Your rear view camera is one camera, but has 3 different views. So if I touch the screen, up top you'll see hitch, normal, horizon. So if I push hitch, that camera's looking straight down at my hitch pretty much. If you're backing up to trailers, backing into, you know, tight spots, this is going to help you get right up there close if you want to. Normal is the one that we were just looking at that has the distance lines on there that tells you how close you're getting to something. Horizon gives you more like a fish view, kind of a bubble view, gives you a look back a lot further. A lot of times traveling, this is kind of nice because you can kind of see what's going on behind you. And then again, normal. And then anytime you put this coach in reverse, your normal option is going to come on. All right, if I push menu, iPod is no longer used on this system. And then we have Rab McNally. That's going to be your navigation. You also have a navigation button over here on the left side. So for navigation, I'll push there. Going to bring up that warning in your legal consent. Just say accept. All right, so this is the main menu of our navigation. Very first thing we'll do is go into the map. So this is what your map's going to look like. It's got the little picture of an RV there. Starting on the right side, if I push that upper one there, it's going to tell you all of the food, gas stations, lodging, give you just a list of those. Push that same button, puts it away. Next one down is going to be turn by turn. If I had a destination programmed into here, it would give me turn by turn, kind of like MapQuest does. And then it allows you to look at all those turns, upcoming turns. Push that back. The plus minus here are zooming in and out of the map. So you can zoom way out if you want to see the whole country, or if you want to zoom way into a city, you can do that too. The 9 boxes in the right hand corner there are going to take you back out to that main menu where we first started. We have a direction, tells you what direction you're going. Next one up is going to be a Wi-Fi connection. So if I push that, it's going to search for any available wireless networks that we can connect to. So we'll connect to ours here at the dealership. Say okay, close on that. And then this is going to allow us to look at weather, you know, find fuel prices, stuff like that, using the internet. Up top, like if I push weather, it's going to bring up all the weather in my local area. So it tells us, yeah, really cold here, 8 degrees. And then it's going to tell you what Saturday, Sunday, Monday is going to be like, all that. So it gives you up-to-date weather. Then fuel prices. Push on fuel prices. It's going to start out giving you normal fuel. Up here it says regular, so it's always going to say regular until you change it. So then we want to click on that one. Oh, I'm sorry, go down to filter. And then in here down at the bottom you'll see diesel. Click on diesel and then push the back button, and now it's going to research for just diesel stations for you. And then that will tell you the price of those diesel stations that are close to you. Now we'll go back out of there. So a nice option. I mean, you can hook up to a Wi-Fi network and then get some general information. Over on this side, you have settings. That's going to be map settings. What you want the voice to sound like. You know, there's quite a few other settings in there that we can do to the map. Up here, the miles per hour are going to tell you how fast you're traveling. And then I can also click on that. And it's going to tell me sunrise, sunset, give me elevation, give me total hours of the trip. Give you a bunch of information about your trip. Going back in. All right, so now I'll push the 9 boxes. That'll take me back out to the main menu. So now we'll go to RV tools. So RV tools, kind of a nice thing. We'll start with RV information. So if I click on that, what this is this is setting your coach up. Because this system's actually going to route you around tunnels, bridges, stuff you can't fit over, can't fit under, stuff you want to avoid. But it's going to ask you for lengths of your RV, heights, widths, general information about your RV. And then again, it's going to route you around all those things that you don't want to get stuck by. Go back. Warnings. Okay, what warnings are is all the warnings that this system has. So it's going to warn you of sharp turns, curves, hills, any of that stuff. This is where we set up how far in advance we want it to warn us. I always tell everyone, I would run with it how it's set. And if you don't like one of them, then change it after that. But this is where we do all of it. And if you go down at the bottom, this is where those speed warnings are. So if you get really annoyed with her yelling, you're speeding, you're speeding, you're speeding, this is where you actually come and shut that off or raise it up or whatever you want to do with that. But down at the bottom is where you do that. Next one over is a quick planner. If you really quickly want to know how far it is from one city to another city without worrying about plugging it into your map, this is where we do that at. Go back. Road Atlas. So a road atlas is going to give you general information about the state that you're in. So if I click on, say, Delaware, it's going to tell me statehood, state capital. Push down, it's going to tell you state bird. Again, general information about that state. Back, back. Tell Rad is kind of a feedback. So they have like speed limit corrections, construction corrections. They want the feedback if their system's not telling you what it should be telling you. And that's kind of what this is for. Go back. Up above that, we have checklist, maintenance, trails, and fuel. So the very first one is checklist. There's a bunch of preloaded checklists in here. So again, let's start with campsite setup. So go there. So now we got all this stuff in here that we can customize any way that we want to. So you can remove stuff that don't apply to this RV. You can add stuff that apply to it. But it's kind of nice to have it on board that you can just come over here and put a check. I mean, do your final walkthrough when you're leaving to make sure everything's done. So all I would do is click on it, and it's going to put a check there. So kind of a nice feature. Next one on top up here is maintenance. Maintenance is kind of like a big notebook. We can say we changed oil at 10,000 miles, we did it at 20,000, 30, whenever. We can write all that in here and then save those things. So then we have a general record of any maintenance stuff that we've done. Next one over is trails. So a trail is kind of like, we can start a trail now. I could go drive through my town that I'm in now, go drive through there, and then save that trail. If I ever came back here, I would have a saved route that I could do if I wanted to. Fuel. So we can keep track of all the fuel for the years. And all you gotta do is go down here to add fuel. And then it's gonna ask you a bunch of information. Odometer readings, date, location, station, price. And then it will help you figure out current economy, average economy, any of that stuff. Go back, back. Okay, and then also at the bottom you have a calculator and a converter also down here. Now we're gonna go back out. Okay, so now let's go in. So if we're gonna get ready to set up a destination, go to choose destination. All right, very first thing is new location. So this is where we put an address in. Click on that. You can either put an address, city center, or intersection. And then just follow the steps and then it will plug that into the map for you. Go back. Address book or history, or if you save it in the address book like home or any of that stuff, you can just click there and then click on those. History will just tell you the past places that you've typed in. Multi-stops is kind of nice because we can set our whole trip up prior to ever leaving our house. So we can put 10 locations in there. It will take us one by one to each location, which is kind of nice. Then you don't have to mess with the whole time you're traveling. Points of interest. I'm going to click on there. Points of interest is actually really nice. It's going to help you find anything that you want to pretty much. So we either can do it from my RV, which is where I'm sitting right now, a city, the route I have plugged in there, or my destination. So we can do those 4 ways. We're just going to do my route, or my RV, sorry. Very first thing is campgrounds. This is kind of nice because it will help you find any campground in that area. You can either do all campgrounds, or maybe you want state parks, national forests. Let's just do state parks. So under state parks, now it brought all the state parks up in this location. Say I want Pilot Knob, just right outside town here. Click on that. Now it brings up this page. We can either begin a route to there. We can compare different routes of getting there. You can save this address to your address book, or we can add it as a via. So adding it as a via, what that means is we already had a route programmed in there. If we add it as a via, it will take you there and then return you back to your same route that you already had plugged in there. So that's kind of nice. The other thing, it does give you a phone number up top, an address up top. Details on the bottom, if I click on that, it's going to tell you how many sites, if they have electric, if they have dump stations, give you some information about that campsite to decide if you want to go to that campsite. Maybe they don't have what you want, so this will help you find that. Go back. All right, let's go back, back, and back one more time. Okay, next thing over is RV services. So in RV services, it's going to help you find the nearest dealer. If I click on that, it's going to ask you if you want RVDA dealers or just select other dealers, or you can just list them all. So maybe you're having an emergency, just push list all. It's going to help you find all the RV dealers in your area. Go back. And then it also will help you find all the dump stations. So if you're looking to dump your tanks or something, go to dump stations. It will bring up all the places that have dump stations. Some of them might charge for that dumping, but it will bring it up for you. Going back, back. Okay, so next thing we have is parking, rest areas, border crossings. It's exactly what it says. It will find all those things for you and bring up all the closest ones to you. Travel center, same thing. We'll bring all of the closest ones to you. So if I click on that, so now it's bringing up any of them around here. Then we go back. Rab McNally editor's picks. These are some preloaded trips that Rab McNally puts in here for you. So if you want pet-friendly locations, fishing hotspots, this will help you find them. So they preloaded this stuff. Now it's going to find those around the area that you chose. So if I want fishing hotspots, I would click on that. It's going to find those fishing hotspots that are around this area. Going back, other categories. There's probably about 30 more in here. It's gas stations, diesel fuel, shopping, restaurants, airports. And again, like I said, this is pretty much going to help you find whatever you want to in the area you're in. Golf courses, whatever you're looking for. Go back, go back, back. Oops. And then back in choose destinations. Okay, the other thing we have is Rabbit McNally trips. So you can either do best of the road, weekend getaway, scenic tours, regional trips. This stuff is preloaded, and this is the actual trip preloaded in here. So exactly, they just put a bunch in here. It's not specific to any area, it's just a bunch of trips in case you want to just do something random, pretty much. Back, back. Okay, so now we can go back out to menu. So that's pretty much navigation. There's a lot to it. The best way to learn it is just kind of play with it, mess around with it. You'll get it eventually. All right, the other thing you have is setup. Setup is going to be setup of the whole radio. In setup, under system, page 2, there is a factory reset. If anything happens, go to the factory reset, do a reset, have it reboot. Then we have a favorite mode. So that favorite mode above there is actually this button right over here. So you can put whatever you want to on that button. So maybe you want this button to be your phone. Just switch this over to phone. So now, if I take it over to Bluetooth right there. So now this button will activate or go to my phone every time I hit it. Then you just have a bunch of other random settings there for the system. You have video settings, and then we have the JBL audio settings. So if I click on that, that's going to be your mid gain, your bass gain, your equalizers. That's where we adjust all that stuff. On the turn dial here, if I push it once, that is muting. If I hold it, actually shuts the system down. With the system shut down, you're always going to have the screen up that tells you time, date, all that stuff will pop up here in a second. If you don't want that, you go down here. So at night, if that's really bright like that, you can actually hit that switch we talked about down low that switches the batteries. So if I switch it up to engine now we killed all power to this. So you won't have any of those screens on, any of that stuff. All right. Other thing we have over here is the glove box over here, and that locks with the Mercedes key. So we can store whatever in there and lock it with our Mercedes key. The other thing I have is actually up above me. You got your visors up above. We have reading light, reading light. So 2 reading lights up here. There and there. This will bring both reading lights up. The switch on this side is controlling these lights if you want them to come on when the doors open or close. This here is an eyeglass holder. And there is a little bit of storage up above both of the visors. Don't put anything heavy because more than likely it's coming down your head if you put anything heavy. So maps, anything light like that. There are assistant handles up there to help you in and out also. The other thing that we have, I guess with the seat wise, is your seat arms are all adjustable. So if I come down, I can go up and it's going to lock into place whatever position I want it. To reset it, just go all the way up, come back down. The other thing we'd have is if we look on this side of the chair. So on the front chairs, there is a couple controls here. So the very first one in the back here is actually going to tip the backrest forward and back. This one here is a pump. So if I pump it up, that's going to raise you up. If I pump it down, it's going to lower you in the seat. So that adjusts your height. The front one here is going to adjust up or down on the seat. And then actually on the other side, underneath the armrest, you have lumbar support. So that will help you adjust the lumbar. There's a bar in the front of the seat is how we slide it forward and back on that seat also. And I think that pretty much wraps up our walkthrough of 2018 Revel. If you have any questions, anything, give us a call. Check us out on the website. Have a good day.
Thank you for visiting Lichtsinn RV here in Forest City, Iowa, the home of Winnebago Industries. I'm Ron Lichtsinn, and I want to thank you for visiting our dealership, the nation's closest dealer to Winnebago, Itasca, in the Winnebago Touring Coach division of Winnebago Industries here in Forest City, Iowa. Here are some great points from all of my sales staff and my team as to points unrelated to price, why you should choose Lichtsinn RV.
New motorhomes from Lichtsinn Motors have no delivery miles on them. We do not use delivery services like other dealers in which drivers live in the RV during transportation or tow their own personal vehicle during the crucial engine break-in period.
There are no additional fees for purchasing in the state of Iowa, as customers will pay their tax, title, and license in the state that they title their RV. We do, however, assist in titling your RV in your home state. As you can see, we help people day in and day out all over the United States and Canada with titling their motorhome.
Due to our close proximity to the Winnebago factory, we're able to take advantage of cost savings over other dealerships. This allows us to provide you with low, no-hassle pricing.
We offer a free, thorough walk-around with our guests at the time of delivery, where we take as much time as needed for our guests to understand every function, maintenance, and warranty item of their RV. Many dealers charge a significant sum to provide this service.
Here at Lichtsinn Motors, we offer our guests the opportunity to stay on our lot, where you have access to free Wi-Fi, filtered fresh water, and electrical service, whether you're taking delivery of a new RV or just stopping by for service.
We work with several different lenders in order to get you the most competitive rates and terms.
Plus, we offer bi-weekly payments which can save you thousands over the course of your loan.
Purchase and service your Winnebago or Itasca from Lichtsinn Motors, the nation's closest dealer to the Winnebago, Itasca, and Winnebago Touring Coach division of Winnebago Industries. We look forward to providing you the best of class service that our guests throughout the country have come to expect from Lichtsinn RV.